Aloha everyone, this is Stephanie with the Whispering Dragonfly coming to you with your spirit messages, advice for right now. These are your mana messages coming from the ancient Hawaiian wisdom. Please do like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button. All of those things help my channel to grow and expand. So let's do that. And please go to my website. So I have something to announce right now. I've started monthly plans that you can get for readings. The butterfly is $25 a month. This oracle plan includes your personalized video oracle tarot reading with me each month and for each week. So it'll come in one video with your monthly and week by week reading. The Pueo is those two things plus a 30-minute quantum clearing phone session with me personally. The 30-minute quantum clearing session is typically $50 by itself, so you get the oracle readings for free. And then the third plan is the Dragonfly. Okay, the Dragonfly is $100 every month. You get everything from the first two, as well as a 60-minute energy alignment and coaching session with me personally. You guys, my sessions are $100 an hour, typically. So these are great value. You can cancel at any time, and you can sign up for those on my website. Everyone, this is Stephanie with the Whispering Dragonfly coming to you with a spirit reading, and this is advice for right now from the Hawaiian wisdom. So we'll be using the mana cards, doing just a 3-card spread today. Hopefully you can hear me. I wanted to do a video outside by the ocean. It is quite a blustery day today, so bear that in mind. Enjoy the ocean, hear what you hear. And we'll go from there. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and hitting that old bell button. Please do leave me a message. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And that notification button will just let you know when I post new videos. So I typically post pretty often. Upcoming will be March 2021, the energies for that, okay? So those of you who chose that message have a question in mind. Doesn't matter what the question is about, but this is Spirit wanting to give you advice for right now and what that advice is for you. Okay, it's very so we've got our past position. Let me get some runes here. So I guess we're going to do runes and the other, because so I'm going to pick 3. 1, okay, present, 2, and future energies. Okay, this is past. Spirit, give me present energy for what advice do you have for the viewers right now? And then we'll talk story, okay? So I'm using the mana cards. I'll show you the power of Hawaiian wisdom, okay? Sometimes these are a little bit hard to find, but they're really amazing because they show the Hawaiian stories of the different gods, goddesses, different Hawaiian precepts. And so it's really beautiful because in those stories, it's a transformative type of energy, okay? So even just through having those stories in your world, you will have a transformative type of energy that is happening for you. Okay, let's do present energy and future. And they said one more, so I will. Okay. Oops. And let me just get everybody secured down here. I'm like, of course I picked the most like blustery day to do a reading. Okay. Outdoor. I gotta find some I got cards flowing. I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, I am back. So let's go with your past message. All right. We have the rune of strength. So in the past, you have had to have strength. So in what you're inquiring about, the information that Spirit wants to know you right now is that your past was such that you are had to have strength. I feel like you have gone through a situation in the past, those of you who chose this reading, because it's Mama Lahoi, and I'm not always the greatest at pronouncing Hawaiian words, but this is the splintered paddle. It means compassion. So what I'm going to do, this reading's a little different. I'm going to just read you the stories, okay? And I'm going to do my best to read the Hawaiian words correctly, okay? So compassion is the splintered paddle. So in the interpretation, it says, so basically, the teaching. So kanawai is a word for law. The kanawai ni aupio, kolowalu, a law that is based on the idea that we are all from the same stock, okay, is an unchanging law that was first proclaimed by Ku'ali'i, the ruler of Oahu, in the late 1600s. This law proclaimed that old men and women could sleep along the highway in safety. Farmers and fishermen must welcome strangers and feed the hungry. It was said that because of the righteousness of this decree, the gods gave Ku'ali'i a long life. He died in Kailua, Oahu in 1730 when he was 175 years old. The word kanawai also means to learn by experience. Perhaps the most famous example in the law, Mamalohi Kanawai, proclaimed by King Kamehameha I. This law was a result of an incident in 1783 when King Kamehameha attempted to take control of all the islands. Shortly after a battle, Kamehameha's canoe landed near the village of Puna, where his enemies were fishing. Kamehameha and a few of his strongest men attacked and were pursuing some defenseless fishermen, when one of the fishermen threw his fish net over Kamehameha, causing Kamehameha to stumble and cut himself on the sharp lava. In spite of his injury, Kamehameha continued his pursuit until his foot broke through a thin shell of lava and became caught in a crevice. One of the fishermen turned back and struck Kamehameha with his paddle, but due to Kamehameha's strong and bulky body, the paddle splintered after a few blows and the man ran away. A few years later, Kamehameha came across the two fishermen who had escaped, including the one who had attacked him, but instead of killing or punishing them, he offered his compassion and released them, for Kamehameha had come to the realization that even great men could sometimes be weak. Therefore, he proclaimed that all people had the right to be free from fear and the danger of an unjustified attack. So the splintered paddle represents compassion. It's a reminder that the quest of power or success should not allow your ego to interfere with your ability to be compassionate towards yourself or other people. Okay. Self-centeredness driven by ego can cloud your ability to empathize with others. What you give to others will be given back to you. If you forget to have compassion for weaknesses, faults, and failures of others, then you risk becoming short-sighted, unfair, emotionally cold, torn up, or dead inside. The splintered paddle may also appear to remind you of your own vulnerability and the need to take care of yourself. So, for your past position, I feel like you guys have gone through something. Someone may have wronged you, or you may have wronged someone else. And Spirit's saying there's a need for compassion. So you've been learning that in your pursuit of power or relating with others, that there's a need to be compassionate with yourself. And sometimes there's a need to retreat back. And even if your energies have splintered, that you have the strength to have that compassion with yourself and bring in the transformation. Okay, so some of you may have gone through quite an interesting time in the recent past, and Spirit's acknowledging that, and they're saying that it is quite important for you to have taken this time to rest, relax. Sorry, person walking behind my video. I don't know that person. Sorry. And so it's saying that you need the time to rest, relax, to do what you need to do to enjoy your life and get your energies back together. Okay, so some of you, I feel like in love relationships, there may have been a power struggle or a breakup or some sort of separation. There's been a need to be compassionate. For others, I feel like you were overworked or misplaced in your workplace. Maybe due to COVID or something else, you've lost your job. So there's been something that's really shaken your world. And I feel like for some of you, you may have criticized how you handled it. So be compassionate with yourself, because it's like even the strongest among us are weak sometimes, and we don't always use our best character in every situation. And so, so Spirit's saying, look, we're doing the best that we can at any given moment. And so in your past, you've needed to have strength. They've been supporting you to teach you how to have compassion. And also they're reminding me of something my mentor taught me, because I'm extremely empathic, highly sensitive person, and I'm sure those of you watching this may also be. Okay, and she said sometimes it's important to use ruthless compassion, meaning when you see someone going down into digging a hole for themselves that they're about to fall into, okay, an empath's reaction is to try to help them because you're feeling what they're feeling, but often we go into the hole with them. To provide ruthless compassion is to hold the space of compassion within self without going down into the hole with them. Because I know when I've gone through my kind of dark nights of the soul, had somebody rescued me out of it, I would have missed the power of my own resilience, okay? And so you never want to take that away from someone else. No one needs to be saved. They can save themselves, okay? And so Spirit's teaching a lesson with that on how to have ruthless compassion, how to be compassionate and loving from someone and allow them to take a fall if they need to, without you trying to save, rescue, or interfere with their lesson, okay? In the now, we have the rune of movement, okay? So there's starting to be movement towards your goal, your inquiry, your question, okay? And this movement is like, I feel like with that compassion part, I also feel there was a time of rest, rejuvenation, and healing that occurred. And there was maybe in the past, oh, hold on 1 second. Penny girl. Penny girl. Oh. Okay, you guys. So Spirit is reminding me just how much, don't take things so seriously, you know what I mean? So this is kind of a funny video, but you know, it's like, maybe there's been interruptions and distractions for you because we were talking about that past, or Spirit, in our lives, sometimes there's a pattern interrupt so that we can take the change. So I feel like in the past you've had some rest and maybe not too much feelings of like, I feel this feeling of being lost, like not knowing where to go next. And now in the present moment, that momentum of inspiration is coming in for you, because your next card up is Laka, okay? So Laka is the hula goddess, and this represents inspiration. So in the now, Spirit's sending you inspiration. I would pay attention to sign signals, repeating numbers, animals, because they're starting to send you inspiration to move you along your path, okay? To move you into this, to your next flow, okay? I feel like you had a cycle that ended, and now you're receiving the inspiration from Spirit in order to make some moves, okay? And, oh, beautiful. And I don't know how to do this chant, but I'll try to read it. It says, Noho ana laka ika ulu wehi wehi. And that means Laka dwells in the adornment of beautiful growth. How wonderful is that? You are in the process of beautiful growth, and there's this movement that's happening. And this is where you can call on Laka, because she, that's where she dwells. She adorns herself with beautiful growth. So the teaching is, Laka is the goddess of hula. More than a dance, hula is an essential part of life in Hawaii. It is treated with such respect that dancers adhere to strict traditions when gathering the plants for their costumes and the hula altar. Hula is a complex ritual, a form of worship, a spiritual practice, a discipline. Plants traditionally placed on a hula altar include maili, lehua, pili, and iliahi. Each acts as a bridge between Laka and her dancers. According to Kumuhulu John Kaimakawa, master of hula, maili symbolizes an umbilical cord. One end is attached to Laka and the other to the earth or to the dancer. So you have the connection, you have open communications to whom you are praying. Lehua is used because the wood of the tree is male and the flower is female. Placing them on the altar allows the two to dance. In this way, hula is a union between the masculine and feminine. Pili is a clinging grass. It is placed in bundles on the altar so that whatever you are taught will cling to you and you shall not forget it. The last thing placed on the altar ground is iliahi, or sandalwood. The sweet smell is believed to inspire the dancer to move in such a way as to inspire and capture the people. When all the spirits of the plants are placed in position and called upon, if conditions are right, the spirit of Laka possesses the dancers. Oh, that's so beautiful. And dances through them. This possession, known as ho'oulu, making to grow, may be prayed for. So the interpretation, Laka brings inspiration through submission to a higher power. Ho'oulu is a type of possession that takes an acceptable work and transforms it into an excellent one. Ho'oulu has been said to change mediocre artistic endeavors into magnificent ones. If you are seeking inspiration, Laka can give you the surge of strength and control that gets a job finished. Laka's altar teaches that tapping into inspiration and its related spurts of energy and growth requires connection, balance of male and female, openness, and a special place to work from. Sometimes the most important work you can do is to provide a space for the muse to enter. You may need to relax, get more in touch with nature, or both. Openness and connection require that you be in touch with yourself and the earth. Male and female can be balanced by alternating periods of activity and passivity. Aggressive periods of tackling a task need to be interspersed with periods of calm and reflection so that you may accomplish your goals with excellence. Periods of recreation can be important as the work itself, as they allow you to renew your inspiration. Inspiration flows best when you have a special space from which to work. This space may be mental, physical, or both. Whatever it may be in your situation, Laka's inspiration beckons you to enter your sacred space so that your beauty can unfold and grow. So, quite beautiful. You are in that growth process of inspiration. Many of you may be getting the inspiration to create a new job. For those of you that it resonated that in the past you lost a job or separated from that. You're coming out of a time of rest, contemplation. You're coming out of a time of healing and balancing, and you're moving into a time of movement. So you're learning that balance. So we have this movement with Laka, so we're entering into this balance between the masculine and feminine. Okay, and she's going to give you the strength and inspiration. So Spirit's saying spend some time in the now, in meditation, whatever that means to you. That can be a traditional meditation where you have your eyes closed and you're releasing thoughts, or it could be walking through nature. Okay, it could be sitting if you're close to a beach, or listening to beach sounds. Okay, if you close to a forest, or can go somewhere for a walk, and communing with the spirits of nature. That's going to help you right now because it's moving you into this position of great inspiration after a time of learning and challenge. And Spirit's saying that you have completed a cycle. So they're showing me that you have learned what it takes to move forward beautifully in your growth. Okay, and so here it is. Okay, so they're very proud of you. So for those of you who have had some great changes, either you're questioning about a job or a relationship, there's movement, there's inspiration. Spirit is going to show you the next steps. I feel like for many of you, the energy that I'm getting is more so this creative energy. I feel like there's an identity that's changing for you, and it has to do with how you combine your work day to day with your spiritual practice. So I feel like many of you may be moving into more of a spiritual type of work, or your entrepreneurship. I feel like there's a project or something that you've been working on that has been at a standstill, and now it's moving into a place of movement and inspiration. So you can call upon Laka and she can give you inspiration, okay? And so moving forward into the future now, we have the rune of joy. Now this is right side up. My camera does make it look backwards. It is indeed in the correct position. Okay, so you have great joy coming forward. This is the rune of having learned the lessons, integrated and assimilated them, and now you're moving into great joy and happiness. Okay, so 2 cards came out for this, for your future position, and this is near future. Spirit's saying very, very soon. They're saying soon. So I feel like some of you, there may have been a time where there's not been a whole lot of movement. Okay, so this is you got Pu'olo, which means release. Okay, and the chant says, Waiho kena ikake akua, Waiho ike akua. Take it to the gods, take it to God. I really feel like you guys are moving into this state of grace and reverence in your life. So what Spirit's saying is you're moving into this time of great joy because you have learned the lesson, had the strength that you don't have to do it on your own. So you're moving into this state of releasing everything to God or the gods, okay, to your higher self, source, whatever you think that's higher than you. You're releasing your burdens, your prayers, your offerings to them, so that you do not have to do this on your own with your conscious ego mind. You have learned and are moving into a state of great joy because you are combining and integrating your divine masculine and feminine energies. So what's beautiful about this is that the Hawaiians say that you reach a state at some point that it's a walking meditation called walking in Hakala. Okay, so this is when you're walking as spirit running through you. So in the now, you're learning how, some of you may be a channel. Okay, so you're really learning how to channel or learning that you have those capabilities. And so you're learning how to bring the information from spirit down into the body and out through the mouth, not having to know what you're going to say or do. And like when you're walking in Hakala, spirit may say, go to this place, and it puts you in the right place at the right time. This is law of attraction. This is you being where you need to be. And in the very near future, you're learning how to release that to the gods, your higher self, source. Okay, the teaching is Malama Pu'olo means tending or caring for a bundle. A kahu, or a keeper, is a person who ritually feeds and constantly communicates with a spirit who inhabits a bundle. Bundles may be inhabited by 3 kinds of spirit: akualele, unihipili, and animal. Akualele, flying gods, are impersonal spirits kept for essentially harmful purposes, said to sometimes reside in kawila canes, walking sticks, or heirloom spears. Akalele takes the form of the balls of light that are occasionally sighted flying through the night sky. Akalele bundles were typically made of tapa, a cloth made from tree bark, and filled with chips of wood from poisonous trees that grow on the island of Molokai. An akalele could be sent on a mission by a kahu, a caretaker who could command that the spirit go on a specific errand. If the spirit was sent to do harm, the sender risked that the akalele could be returned. An unihipili is the spirit of a living person or of a recently departed loved one. Sometimes the unihipili of a dead person was kept in a bundle that was cared for by a living person who was not ready to let the spirit leave. These spirits were used for either helpful or harmful purposes. An unihipili usually stayed close to its bones, which were wrapped in tapa or stored in a calabash. Objects such as hair, garments, or treasured personal possessions of the deceased also might have been stored in the bundle in place of or along with bones. There were also animal bundles that were filled with bones from a feast or the first fish caught with a new net. Animal bundles were used to feed desired spirits. The idea that people can be possessed by spirit exists throughout the world. Hawaiians believe that one could be possessed by a god, an ancestor, or an animal. Possessions by an unihipili was the most common form of possession. This spirit could have been good or bad, and possession could be total or partial by invasion or invitation. Unihipili were usually amakua, or your ancestors, who temporarily resided in the bodies of the living by entering through the head and departing through the tear ducts. Destructive spirits entered living bodies through the feet. specifically the big toe, and worked their way up the body. In either instance, the possessed underwent what has been compared to a hypnotic trance as they took on the voice, mannerisms, and characteristic expressions of the deceased. Stories are told throughout the islands of processions of Unihipili called Huaka'ipo, or the Night Marchers. Huaka'ipo march on sacred nights to visit sacred or familiar places. They occasionally appear to accompany their dying relatives to the spirit world. Okay, many people who live near ancient trails tell stories about their experience with the night marchers. These stories may include tales of trampling, chanting voices, drumming, and sounds of distinctly high-sounding nose flute. Less common, but still told, are tales of actual sightings. Hawaii-po, sorry, my line is not very good, have been seen dressed in ancient costumes, marching in formations of 3 or 5, and carrying red glowing torches. It is very dangerous to come across the path of the night marchers, for many of those who did are said to have had their soul taken by the procession. Under no circumstances should you seek out the night marchers or try to get a look at them, for to do so is nearly always fatal. However, stories are told of people protecting themselves by detaching from the dangerous situation by using a technique called oki. A person would oki by removing all their clothes, lying down on the ground, and feigning sleep until the procession passed. Oki was also used to protect a person who had broken a kapu, a rule, to ward off curses, bad omens, guilt, or any other form of potential danger. Oki could be also used to banish an akualele, or to put to rest an unihipili. In modern times, oki may be used to detach a person from a name, relationship, behavior, memory, or anything else that might cause harm. So the interpretation, pu'olo bundles, remind you to take care of matters that need your attention and let go of those that do not. This may be time to focus on taking care of yourself. Be careful to not place too much attention to the past or on the problems of others, because it may interfere with you caring for your own responsibilities or a more important situation. Pu'olo may also remind you that anything or anyone you attempt to possess or control could end up possessing or controlling you instead. Resist the temptation to control others, even by rescuing them. So what did we say earlier? Like the night marchers, we sometimes travel the same paths over and over again, unable to change our route. We often walk trails that lead us to repeat undesirable experiences because unresolved regrets, anger, and disappointments act like ghosts that overshadow our ability to explore new routes and experience new outcomes. And sanity has been described as doing the same thing over and over again while hoping things will turn out differently. When pu'olo appears, it is time to release your burdens by replacing them with positive affirmations and actions. Let go of anything or anyone that does not support your higher purpose. Okay, so Spirit's really saying you're moving into a time of joy, and they're really saying that you're coming through this cycle, okay? You're coming through this cycle of trying to rescue everybody, and you're really learning the lesson, okay? And because you're learning the lesson, you're coming into this state of great joy. You're learning how to have boundaries, how to release controlling others, okay? And Spirit's saying, we have the Minahunis, was the other one that came out, okay? So Minahunis are the little people. All right, they help build things in the night. They're amazing, okay? And we'll talk about that. And so this is saying to have persistence. So this goal that they're having is like you're learning how to be persistent without controlling others. You're learning how to work together in a team and allow Spirit and the other powers that be to do the work behind the scenes. And you're gathering that persistence to see the movement forward without controlling someone else, without trying to possess someone else, without trying to rescue anyone else, okay? And because of that, it's going to provide you great joy. So here's the teaching of the Minahunis. We're talking story today, you guys. All right, so the chant is E Minahuni Makako Ika Hana. And I don't know how to do the tones, okay? So those are not the correct tones, it's just the words. And it says, let's get together and get the work done like Minahuni. Okay, the Minahuni are said to be a race of small people who work only at night. The Minahuni are given credit for building many of the waterways, fish ponds, roads, and temples on Kauai. Their stonework is said to be superior to any other in the islands and is revered for its fine precision and detail. There are many different stories about where these little people originated and why they eventually left the islands. Some people say they were the original inhabitants of the islands who were forced into exile by the Tahitians. Others say they were not actually little people at all, but that they were from the Tahitian lower class, and that the word little was actually a mistranslation of the word poor. Rita Knipe, a Jungian analyst who writes on the psychological significance of Hawaiian archetypes, says, wherever they came from, the important thing is that they are real as a popular psychological phenomena. The Menehune have been described as clever, creative, magical, and mischievous. It is also said that when they work, they do not work for free. They have to be fed. In spite of their size, the little Menehune are known to be tremendously strong and are taken quite seriously. When a Hawaiian has a tough job to do, it is the strength and efficiency of the Menehune that is emulated. The Menehune are often accused of playing pranks on people. I can attest to that. If a person in the islands complains about an object being misplaced or lost, a common reply is perhaps the Menehune have taken it. When someone is fortunate enough to secure their assistance, it is not always certain that they will get exactly the kind of help they are looking for, but what is for certain is that the task of some sort will be completed. As hardworking and creative spirits, the Menehune have been compared to the creative sparks which shoot across the universe. The way the Menehune work is perceived as mysterious and incomprehensible, although they often accomplish amazing feats. Perhaps you can gain some clues to understanding the mysterious Menehune if you consider what it takes to produce the stonework that they are best known for. Stonework requires that many small elements fit together to make up a finished structure and demands close attention to detail. Menehune do not work alone. When one works, thousands of others work also. The Hawaiian word mene can mean to step back, and it is used in the Hawaiian expression imeni mai ihope. Menehune may appear to remind you that sometimes it is necessary to step back from whatever it is you are working on in order to see that there are multiple ways to accomplish a task or to get a good job done. The word mene can also mean doll. The word ho'ohune, fine or tiny, is similar to the word huna'ahi, tiny fire or spark. The word ho'ohune means to persist, as it is used in the expression he mea ho'ohune loaka ia ika makani hau. Sorry. The fish are constantly going into the fresh wind. Sometimes it is necessary to be persistent in your effort to turn a tiny dull spark into a raging fire. Fire tending takes patience and diligence and may require that you take a step back, pay attention to detail, and then step back once again. Sometimes it is perfectly acceptable to ask for assistance in order to get something accomplished. Because Menehune work at night, it is easy to overlook the tremendous discipline and occasionally dull details that their creations require. It is often easy to overlook the incredible effort that has gone into the creative works or relationships of others. This may be the mystery of the Menehune's seemingly magical ability to get things done. Patience, persistence, attention to detail, and an ability to ask for assistance when necessary. Use the tools of the Menehune to produce a truly spectacular achievement. Okay, friends, so what you're asking for, I do feel like you have a spectacular achievement that is on the horizon. Ask for help. Patience, perseverance, attention to detail, step back. And you know, this is going to be a great joy of your creation that's coming forward. You're learning not to control anyone else. You're learning to take good care of the spirits in your world. You're learning to ask for help. You're rising in your spiritual knowledge. And I really do feel like for those of you that have a project, or you're intending to create a business, or I just feel like there's a really beautiful creation that you've been working on, that now there's finally going to be some movement, okay? And these are the Hawaiian teachings for today that want it to be a part of your success, okay? And really take that to heart and move forward in your learning, because there's great joy for you here. Okay, so Spirit really wants you to know that, and they want to know that maybe you haven't had any validation for quite some time. And they say that they see that the hard work that you've been doing towards your goal and outcome, and now's a good time to ask for help without trying to control everything. So they're asking you to let go of trying to control all of the details and allow, my mentor taught me, you know, I'm an only child, so I didn't always know how to work well with others, you know. And then My mentor is one of 9, so she knows how to work well with others. And the saying on all of our trips to Hawaii when I was first just visiting here and learning, she would say, many hands make light work. Okay, so it makes for light work. It makes it easier for everyone. It's easier if there's, 25 or 100 or 1,000 people doing a simple task, which yields a large result, and everything gets done. And it also means light work. Okay, so we are all in the spirit together, and many hands does make the light work. Okay, so thank you. I hope this comes to you in grace and helps you get some clarity about what you are asking for in your situation right now. And may these teachings, like Laka, bring you beautiful growth. Okay, and so until next time, aloha.